Now, that brings us to our next rookie quarterback, your favorite Zack Wilson, someone that you've really, really thought is going to have a great NFL
Yeah,
career and is in the perfect situation. So Zack Wilson is 6 for 9, 63 yards. Not a great day, not a bad day. That's an okay stat line for. I mean, only 9 passes, not bad at all. Looks like he didn't have any rushes or anything like that. And I'm not seeing any sort of turnovers or anything like that for him. So I mean, it's looking like he had an okay day.
So I went
Nothing
back
spectacular.
and I watched because I wanted to make sure that I was doing my research because I have buried this guy, right? That I do not like him.
Mhm.
So I went back and I watched all of his passing attempts. There are times where he looks really good. When he is on the move, he is very good. But you can't move the pocket all the time. His second throw of the game, it's a little 5-yard out. 3-step drop. Once that third step, once that back foot hits in that third step, that ball is supposed to be out. That's a timing and that's a rhythm throw. And he absolutely dirts it. It is a very, very bad throw. Now, he did stand in the pocket a little bit and tried to make an attempt. Another very errant throw. But he at least hung in the pocket for a throw, which is something I like to see out of a rookie. But my problem with Zack has never been his arm talent. My problem with Zack is that he doesn't throw in rhythm. That second throw of the game is exactly what I'm talking about and why it scares me. In the NFL, you have to throw within rhythm. This is another reason why I don't like Tua, because he doesn't throw in rhythm. On those quick 3-step drops, you don't have time for the hitch, especially if you're throwing an out route, because if you're late on an out route, that's 6 going the other way. So when that back foot hits on that third step, that ball has got to be out and it has to be accurate, and it was not. There was another play later in the game where when he gets into that last step and that ball's supposed to be coming out, it's offline. Zack Wilson needs a hitch to get his feet right and get set to be in rhythm and on balance for the way he throws. Not every route combination allows for that hitch. He has got to find a way to, when that last step hits, the ball comes out. He doesn't have it right now, and it scares me because I'm not sure that you coach that into a kid at this point in his career. So I don't know if you were pulling up the video of what I was talking about, but
No. For me, again, it's first week of preseason. It's new offense.
It is.
He was playing for BYU before, and they don't have like some prolific pro style offense necessarily.
Yeah.
I give him a little bit more leash. It's the Jets. If there is a quarterback graveyard, it is with the New York Jets. So I think he's got an uphill battle. He's probably going to have a rough first season.
This is going to be a very tough year. I worry that what just happened to Sam Darnold is exactly what's going to happen with Zack Wilson.
I didn't like Sam Darnold, though.
Zack has more arm talent than Sam does, for sure. But those things that scared me with Sam was the turnovers. With Zack, if he can't learn how to throw in rhythm, he's going to deal with turnovers, or it's all going to be short dink and dunk. That's not, and you cannot live that way in the NFL. The Steelers did it for 11 weeks. And then everybody's like,
everyone figured it out.
They cannot fucking throw the ball down the field. And then you stack the box, you play everybody tight, and then you lose 5 of your last 6. You can't win that way. You can be successful for a small period of time, and that's what scares me about Zack. I'm not saying that he looked terrible by any means. He looked a little bit better than I thought he was going to look, considering how bad that Jets team is. But those things that I talked about in the beginning that worried me, I saw those things on the tape. So,
and move on to another quarterback real quick. Probably the most vanilla out of the group, in my opinion, Mac Jones. We can get on to Mac Jones real quick.
This is going to be very quick.
He's vanilla. He's 13 of 9, 87 yards, 4.6 yard average. It looks like he's running Bill Belichick's offense. It is vanilla. Vanilla can win though. especially in Tom Brady's last years. It's not like, yeah, he's a great quarterback. He's doing what he needs to do. He's game managing, and that's what Mac Jones is there to do. Um, Cam Newton goes 4 for 749 yards, so a little bit more explosive and whatnot. But Mac Jones looked like he's filling the role that he's supposed to fill. Bill Belichick came out today and said, I'm not naming a starter yet.
No.
So we'll see what actually happens there. I feel like he's probably going to end up going with Cam Newton just because Bill is Bill, and he's more apt to sit a guy who's a rookie than to just throw him out into the fire right away. But he looked like your average tapioca game manager quarterback, which is what they brought him in to be. And if he's filling that role, that's good for him.
Yeah, Mac Jones is white bread. He's fucking plain. But we all knew that. He's conservative with the ball, doesn't make mistakes. You said 13 for 19, 87 yards. That's 4.6 yards per attempt. He's going to take the dumps. He's going to take the little checkdowns. He's not going to force the ball down the field.
And 2 rushes for no yards.
Yeah, he's safe.
Yeah.
He's that guy that you date. He's the guy you date after you get out of a bad breakup. That's what he is. He is white bread. He is vanilla. And that's okay. That works up in New England because they're going to be very good on defense. Now, is Mac going to ever be a prolific guy like Tom eventually became? Maybe. He's definitely not that right now. He is going to be safe. He is potentially going to not lose them a game, which is why I think that the Patriots have a chance to have that better record than the Bears. But they play in a very, very tough division.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Mac was exactly what we expected. Safe, vanilla, white bread.
Yep. And then moving on to more of your boomer bust type of guy, you have North Dakota State University's Trey Lance. Trey Lance, if you look at the stat sheet, there's some things that really stand out in a good way and in a bad way. So he goes 5 for 14, 128 yards with a 9.1 yard average and a touchdown. Now, if you take out one pass out of that whole equation, it looks like he had a dumpster fire day.
Oh, yeah. He was hot and cold. There was no middle ground. Because on top, so the 5 for 14, 128, that's an 80-yard touchdown pass in there as well, right?
Yeah.
But also on top of that, it took 4 sacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's not great.
No.
Now, I'm going to give Trey the benefit of the doubt. He has not played hardly at all over the last 2 years because of COVID and I think it was an injury up in North Dakota State.
So I don't know about the injury. I know that he did not play last year because he sat out due to COVID, which was a real ballsy move. When you're at North Dakota State University, you're not one of the premier football teams.
No, I mean the best quarterback to come out of there is Carson Wentz, and well, we've seen how that worked out.
But so kind of knowing just that general region in the college football landscape of it, North Dakota State was always D1 AA, and they were a powerhouse. They constantly were winning championships and stuff up there. They would consistently come and play the Gophers or Wisconsin, and they would put up a very competitive game, if not win those games.
They beat a couple of those
which
D1
is
teams.
Which is why they've moved up. And so North Dakota State is one of those places that very good talent goes to that isn't getting all the offers from some of the big name schools. Trey Lance, a Minnesota guy, so I'm rooting for him in general. He has really, really great arm talent, and he's athletically gifted.
He looks the part.
He is coming from a smaller school, though, even with North Dakota State's kind of lineage and how they've been dominant. And part of a knock on him was they have been so dominant that he's not playing against anywhere near NFL competition, and those stats might be inflated some. And I think some of what we saw from him over this weekend shows that a little bit, is that he can be extremely dominant in situations, but he has to catch up to the NFL game. He needs time to get back in football shape. He needs to get time to get acclimated to an NFL playbook. He needs to get acclimated to playing against NFL players. He's got a lot of talent. I have kind of been on the fence of he could be a Patrick Mahomes light because of that arm talent. And when I saw that 80-yard touchdown throw, I thought that looks like a Mahomes style, easy wrist flick throw, 80 yards touchdown. And Mahomes sat for a year, right?
Yep.
If Trey Lance sits for a year, I think that he could have that same kind of potential path. I don't know that he'll ever be as good as Patrick Mahomes because Patrick Mahomes is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
But I'm honestly not concerned with his performance.
I'm
It
not
was
either.
not good, but it's kind of what I expected from him at this point. He's definitely the type of guy that needs to sit for a year.
Yeah, he can't play this year. I think I was listening to Coward the other day. I think he's had 20 passes in the last 560 days. So he has not played a lot of football recently. He needs reps. He should be taking as many reps as possible in the preseason because he's probably not going to play when the season comes around.
Barring injury to
Barring
Garoppolo,
injury, right.
which is always on the table.